All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a couple of real people out there, just like you and just like me. So, Steven Tyler has a health update for us, and it really, I've heard from industry insiders about what he did to his larynx and his age and this material that he has to sing. And most everybody I've spoken with says it would be a medical miracle if he comes back and they tour in 2024, but they're supposed to reschedule the tour in 2024. All right. Before I get to the information about Steven Tyler, here is a really cool band from the UK. This is Voodoo Room. Great name, combining two song titles, because these guys perform the music of Cream and Jimi Hendrix. It's a three-piece band, and they're just really good. If you haven't heard it, you should check it out. If you're into old school blues rock, you can't go wrong. This here is all original material. This is their album. It's called Tension City Blues. And I heard it one time, and I'm like, how come people aren't talking about this band? But maybe they are in the UK. They perform to sold out audiences, and they really have that Cream Hendrix mojo, right? So different time and a different style. The power trio, these guys get it. And Tension City Blues by Voodoo Room. Okay, so the Steven Tyler update. It's just not a whole lot. Apparently, he is giving his fans a health update. Back in September, Aerosmith was forced to postpone their Peace Out Farewell tour after Steven Tyler fractured his larynx. I mean, I didn't know you could fracture a larynx, but he did. Now he's giving fans a little update on his health and emphasized the word little. The good news is it seems Tyler is getting better. The rocker posted a picture on Instagram of him in the studio wearing headphones, writing, "Throats on the mend, but ears still work." Okay? And in the meantime, it's studio time. And apparently he's remixing the first Aerosmith album. It's just a self-titled debut album, a really great record, in fact. And I'm hoping the remixing isn't doing anything to the original material, because that stuff really had a different sound than what Aerosmith would become later on. It was much more blues-oriented. It just, you have to go listen to it. Obviously, you've got Dream On, but you've got all this other material, which growing up in New England, that debut album, so underrated, and people aren't playing stuff off of it anymore, other than Dream On, right? If you grew up in the Boston area, you were listening to pretty much every track on that record, but I'm hoping there isn't any tampering with that. I just hope it's remastered. And when they say remix, I get a little nervous because that can mean different things. So Aerosmith kicked off their Peace Out tour on September 2nd in Philly, but was forced to postpone just a few weeks later. So far, they haven't rescheduled the tour, but it's supposed to happen in 2024. So the health update is voice or throat is on the mend. All right, well, and honestly, folks, based on what I know from people on the inside, this is going to be a miracle for Steven Tyler. It's possible. Here's the deal with Aerosmith, okay? This is commentary. This isn't related to the article. But Aerosmith probably should have called it quits about 5 years ago. They should have said, you know what? We had a great run. But here's the problem. You had Steven Tyler doing his thing, American Idol, and then, I think he fell off the stage or something, and then he was in rehab again. And Joe Perry, I think, had a medical episode a few years back as well. So these guys from, say, about 2003, 2005, up until fairly recently, they wasted a lot of time. And the way they perform and the way Tyler has to sing, this music is truly meant for a younger band. All right. I think we can establish that. Now, you can compare Aerosmith to the Stones, but Mick Jagger is, shall we say, a different kind of singer to start with. He doesn't scream. He's been very judicious with his vocal cords over the years. Not that he can't hit high notes and do a little falsetto, but it's different from what Tyler has been doing literally for generations now. And you can't put your vocal cords through what Steven Tyler has put them through, and also partake in certain substances, in addition to smoking and drinking and doing all the other stuff that Aerosmith did for decades as well. So the commentary here is Aerosmith could have stayed on top if they wanted to. Everybody got distracted. They actually survived the 90s because of the Armageddon soundtrack and Diane Warren and all that. And they still had the mojo. They still sounded great. And I don't know. Obviously, they decided that maybe they were looking at, we can't sell records anymore because of streaming. Neil Sean, by the way, today or the other day was complaining about streaming revenue. And he's got a point. There is no revenue really for the artist. So he was correct when he was complaining about that. People were doing this years ago when Napster came on the scene. Napster. It sounds like the dark ages now. Napster. But that hasn't changed. And my point about Steven Tyler and Aerosmith is they missed the boat for about 20 years. They missed the boat. And when they realized, hey, we could still sell out the Vegas residency. Hey, we could do a nationwide tour and get into stadiums. And, you have the Black Crowes opening, which is a great idea. And is it too late? And that is really the question. It might just be too late. I mean, Joe Perry was willing to recruit like Daughtry to be the singer instead of Steven Tyler because they weren't getting along, and Steven was making lots of money being a judge on American Idol. But kind of really put off a few of us Aerosmith fans out here who were still hoping that maybe the boys would mount one more impressive tour. They're trying to go out in style. But if I were a betting man, and I don't know what the odds would be here, but I'm hoping that they can do this next year. But my guess is it's going to be hard. It's going to be really difficult. Say he mends, as he says, his throat is on the mend. Say he gets better, and then he goes out there for one or two shows, and then the same thing happens. What's going to prevent that from happening? Unless he decides he's going to sing these songs in a completely different way. He'll call up Billy Joel and say, hey, Billy, you've been throwing the off-speed stuff for a number of years. How do you do that? Because I don't know if Steven Tyler knows how to do that. They might have to train him to go down instead of up, and to go sideways or whatever it is, drop everything down a bit. But with Aerosmith, I mean, their signature song would kill anyone's voice, right? Dream On would just wipe it out. So we'll see what happens, folks. I'm not, holding my breath for Aerosmith next year, but who knows? And here's another solution to the problem. AI is the other solution. I mean, they could go full Paul Stanley here and just, if they need a vocal track, bring it in. I mean, this is the last time people are going to get to see Aerosmith. So, a lot of fans will be disappointed in that. But if the show must go on, then you need to work at really trying to fool the audience and just giving them one last chance to see the boys on stage, and give Steven Tyler's larynx time to heal, because it's going to need a lot of time. All right, people. Before I go, one more shout out for this band, Voodoo Room, Tension City Blues. These guys are from the UK. If you're from the States, I'm sure you haven't heard of them. It's kind of like the Big Wolf Band. That's another one that I showcase. This is a great power trio in the spirit of Cream and Hendrix. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong with Cream and Hendrix. And they put on a great show performing the music of Cream and Hendrix, but they also have their own material, which is quite good. It's much like what Voyage did, covering all the Journey music and then making their own stuff, which sounds as good as anything Journey has done, say, I don't know, the last 25 to 30 years. So it's doable. You can continue this if you want to, and I don't know. Apparently the streaming revenue is so bad that a lot of artists just don't want to record new material. They'll throw one song out there on Spotify and say, hey, that's all you're getting, because it makes no difference. Although, hey, Dolly Parton's figured it out, right? Dolly Parton, #1 rock album in the country. You go, Dolly. I don't know, people. Maybe I should just, instead of trying to critique Dolly, I should just say, hey, it's great. It's great that Dolly is singing Queen and Journey songs. It's great. I'm so thrilled about this. And maybe she'll do another cheerleader routine during the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm sure it would get great ratings. And maybe Dolly can come out wearing a bikini this time, And then people will go, I think it's great. Anyway, folks, I got nothing else to say here. God bless everyone, and continue to pray for peace in the Middle East. Looks like things are getting a little better in the Middle East, but I don't know if things will ever truly get completely better in the Middle East. But thank you to the patrons and all the subscribers, and of course, I will see you soon.